Noise about the fire truck made me feel, who is the next?
Though almost all of the torched buildings are in residential neighborhoods, and most of the fires have been set at night, no one has been seriously injured. At least, says Kevin Ord, not yet.
You know, it's terrible. We're afraid that we're going to end up with a loss of life.
People are entering vacant buildings at 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning and setting those on fire.
When the fires began, Ord was Lawrence's only arson investigator. But now there's a glimmer of hope which may help solve the problem. The city has formed a special task force headed by Detective Robert Corey of the Massachusetts State Police.
Everybody on the street knows who set the fire except for the police. See, we have to break through this code of fear or silence in order to get to the information these people may have.
The task force has set up a hotline for anonymous tips and keeps a high profile in the neighborhoods.
We get somebody inside here, Tony.
Now, every fire that goes off is going to have a major investigative effort to catch the perpetrator, and we're going to throw the fear of God into them.
All right, get against the wall. Put your hands up there.
What's going on there, fella?
They look for suspects,
You get identification?
talk to neighbors, and inspect potential arson targets.
See if we have any problems in here.
On duty tonight are Sergeant Tom Murphy and Lieutenant Jack Burton.
I've been doing fires for 29 years now. I've run into everything. And this is a bad, bad problem we're having.
Yeah, these are all tips for hypodermic needles. Right there. All right. You got every indication here that they were doing crack and hair drugs.
The investigation is making progress. Anonymous tips and sting operations have led to several arrests. But some community leaders say the task force is only a Band-Aid, while the real reasons for arson in Lawrence are bone deep. When the arson task force makes highly publicized arrests, how do you respond to that?
I think that's fine. I think that's certainly a step in the right direction, but my fear is that they're going to go home, and we're still going to be here, and that possibly they may not have gotten at some of the root causes.
I think if you had a problem like this in a richer community, I think more notice would have been taken. I'd like to say that we're doing all that we can, but basically it's a poor community, that people have no power, and hey, they're all getting screwed.
This year, there have already been more than 100 arson fires. And Lawrence is well on its way to breaking last year's record.
That if we're going to use the apparatus, we're going to call the alarms, you know?
But now the arsonists are getting even bolder, setting fires in broad daylight.
There was a liquid accelerant that was poured in this area. The same individual poured some of the liquid accelerant onto that couch over there. You can smell it very, very clearly, what was used. In fact, they left some of it behind.
Is that gasoline? It smells like gasoline to me. Although this fire occurred in an abandoned apartment on the top floor, there were families living on the floors below.
My mother, she woke up, and there was fire, there was thing all over the household, and the alarms were on, so she woke us all up. We could all got burnt up there sleeping if my mother wouldn't have woken up.
They're really scared, and they got a reason to be.
9:30 in the morning, broad daylight.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit the pattern.
Well, what's the pattern? I mean, the pattern is one of destruction.
The long, hot summer has not only taken its toll on Lawrence, but on Kevin Ord as well. How thankless a job is investigating and trying to prosecute arson?
It's terribly thankless, and that arson is such a hard crime to prosecute.
Now he's told the fire chief he no longer wants to investigate arson, that he simply wants to go back to being a fireman, where at least he knows the job is done when the fire is out.
We had so many fires that you'd start working on one, in the meantime you'd have 2 more come in. And it was just like being on a merry-go-round. It never stopped.
How personally do you take what you've seen happening here?
I take it very personally. I'm in the city every day. To me, it almost seems like it's dying, and I don't like it. I want this to be a good place to live. I hope this is the absolute bottom, and it doesn't get any worse.
The arson task force has been having some success. Since the task force was formed in May, the number of arson fires has dropped dramatically. When we come back, you'll meet a man